Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Nagbabalik ang inyong estudyante ng sining, Frane Jan Limbuel. Noong nakaraan ay nakilala natin si Mr. Aristolato Platonides, na talaga namang bihasa sa larangan ng sining. Nakita at natutunan din natin ang mga media at arkitektura at literatura sa kanyang mga vlog. Kaya naman, naisipan naming imbitahan siya sa isang online interview.
Good morning, Mr. Aristolato. Before we start our interview, we just want to say that we are really grateful to have you here. By the way, I am Narain M. Sosa from Batangas State University. I'm also a follower of your blogs on your Facebook that talks about art.
That is really great. I'm really grateful for that. Knowing that many people read my blogs about art, especially students.
No, sir. Actually, we are the one who should be thankful for you because your blogs really help us to understand different concepts of arts. And speaking of arts, sir, I've heard that you will explain to us and other viewers the other elements and principle of art.
Yes, that is correct. I'll try to explain to everyone the topic of lines and kinds of lines and the shape and classification of shape. Okay, let's start with the line. A line can be defined in several ways. It is a path made by a moving point, a series of dots. A prolongation of points, or according to Paul Klee, is a dot that went for a walk. One definition of a line, however, that captures its essence in the visual arts is it being an intended mark made by the artist to convey meaning beyond its physical description. For its types, we have straight lines that is geometric, impersonal, and differ in the direction that they take. The straight lines may move from left to right, start from the top going down, slant or move up and down, slant or move up and down, forming angles. Whatever is the direction, each king indicates a specific type of emotion. Next is horizontal lines that move from left to right or vice versa. It is a line that appears to be laying down. After that is the vertical line that starts from bottom to top, or vice versa. It is a line that appears to be standing. Then the diagonal lines that are slanting lines. In the visual art, diagonals suggest two meanings, a positive and a negative one. On the positive and a negative one. On the positive, diagonals indicate action and movement, that is to move forward and act. On the negative, it conveys a feeling of uncertainty, stress, and defeat. Also the zigzag lines, or the angular lines that resulted in abrupt change in the direction of a straight line, thus forming angles. The lines are unpleasant and harsh, which portrays tension, conflict, chaos, or violence. And lastly, the curved lines that are technically curvilinear lines. Curved lines suggest grace, movement, and flexibility indicative of life and energy. When a curved line moves continuously in opposite directions, it forms a wavy line which shows fluidity because of the gradual change in direction. Other than those types of lines, did you know, my dear students, lines can possess a variety of characteristics depending on shape, density, rhythm, angularity, and the material that have produced them? Lines may be short or long, fine or thick, heavy or light, wavy or jagged, straight or curved. No matter what type of line it is, it always has direction. For example, we have visible outline, invisible outline, center line in pencil, dimension line, extension line, alternate position, line of motion, cutting plane, ditto or repeat line, ditto or repeat line, broken material, limiting break, cross, hatching line. All of them shows a variety of characteristics of lines. Lastly, my dear listeners, after hearing those concepts of lines, I just want to say that line is very important in art, since they lead your eye around the composition and can communicate information through their character and direction, and this information helps us to understand the art. To understand these lines further, let me show you some examples of art that use different lines. For our last topic, I am really sure that all of us can relate here, since from childhood, children were taught this using games, puzzles, and many other ways. The last topic that I will be discussing with you, my dear students, is about shapes and classification of shapes. So, in visual arts, a shape is formed when two ends of a line meet to enclose an area. The area may stand out from the surface because of a difference in color, value, or texture. May also present themselves as flat or two-dimensional and solid or three-dimensional on a picture plane. And when we say plane, it is any flat surface onto which the artwork is created. We also have negative shapes that refer to the space that surrounds a particular figure or object. These are between the shapes that are not occupied by any form. In painting, these spaces can be as important as the shapes themselves. In sculpture and architecture, the shape of the artwork can be determined by viewing the work against its background. For the classification of shapes, we have what we call natural or organic shapes, or those that are seen in nature, like the shape of leaves, animals, mountains, flowers, and seashells. They are considered an organic shape since they have defined lines. Though it is not geometric or mathematical, it could be drawn in any number of ways and would still be an organic shape. Next is abstract shapes, or those that have little or no resemblance to natural objects. These shapes are depictions of real things without being exact representation. The icons we see in web design, our phones, and in street signs are abstract shapes that we are quite used to seeing and can easily recognize. A great example of an abstract shape is a stick figure, which represents a person. After that is the non-objective or biomorphic shapes that seldom have reference to recognizable objects, but most often show a similarity to some organic forms. These are shapes that do not represent or depict any identifiable person, place, or thing. Lastly is the geometric shapes are closed figures created using points, line segments, circles, and curves. Such shapes can be seen everywhere around us, like triangles, rectangles, squares, cylinders, cubes. Again, for you to understand our topic clearly, let me show you different arts that used variety of shapes.
Thank you, Mr. Aristolato. That was very wonderful and informative lesson for us. And we are really great that we invited you here. Thank you again, Mr. Aristolato.
No problem. I had a really great time. It was wonderful to teach someone like you, my dear students of art.